Okay, let me just get my streaming and my recording set up, and then we can kick this thing off in style. Um, yeah, so this is kind of the first one of these that we've done, which is, I don't know, a yearly summit, a quarterly summit. We'll see how often we do it, but it's fun to get everybody together on a call on Zoom and sort of talk about some of the big picture things that we're doing as a business, things that we're looking at, things that we think every single solitary artist and photographer should be aware of, whether you ever become a customer or not, right? And even on this call, you know, we have a range of different artists, photographers, creatives. Some of you are at the start of your career. Some of you are just getting going. You're picking up steam. Some are completely stalled. Some are in the second halves of their careers, and really everything in between, right? You know, some of you have never sold a single solitary piece, and you're like, how do I get started? How do I do that? Some of you have sold a few. Some of you have been selling for years. Yet the one thing that binds all of you guys together is you would all, because you're on this call, by virtue of the fact that you're on this call, you want to be selling more and more. You want your business to be growing, keep growing year after year, which is very good. That's going to make our session today properly focused and nuanced on how that can happen. And I like to say this a lot on these calls, but it's the advice you're going to get today, the guidance, the sort of the lecture, for lack of a better term. It's not going to be advice you normally hear everywhere else. We're sort of unconventional, a little bit unconventional in that capacity. So what we're going to cover today, what you will hear today, is what we believe is the best path forward for artists and photographers that actually want to have a real business. We're not here to talk about a hobby. We're not here about expressing yourself creatively. We're talking about growing the business. We're talking about taking the God-given talents that you guys have, or whoever you believe gave them to you, and figuring out what is the best way to monetize that and turn into a business that you can support yourselves, your dreams, your hopes, your goals, your values. And it's really important to define that, because I feel like a lot of the advice out there is not tailored to that, right? And so what we're going to lay out today is what we believe the best path is to get that going, and get it going year after year after year, and get your business growing year after year after year. And it's a set of strategies. It is a set of tactics and facts about how this industry works and how best to grow within it. And, you know, combined, these principles, these strategies, these tactics, they sort of underpin everything that we attempt to provide for our customers at art storefronts. But they also represent what we believe is the best way to set yourself up for success in this business, whether you ever decide to do business with us or not, right? It's important to me that everyone leaves this call with some actionable intelligence that they can start using to change the way that they think and they view things, can start putting to work in their business. And if and when you sign up for art storefronts, that you will immediately have bolted into your life that's going to get you on a path to success. It's very, very important. And I believe really firmly that this is the single solitary greatest time to be an artist or photographer. It just is. A lot of that is a result of the world that we live in, primarily down to the world becoming more flat, the internet, technology, but also the disruption that's happened in this industry, and sort of the gallery model getting turned upside down on its head. And I really believe that, like, never before in the history of this planet has there been this opportunity where artists and photographers can reach so many potential buyers all without stepping foot outside of their front door. Does that mean it's easy? Absolutely not. But at a macro, the conditions have never been better. And, you know, better still, we're stepping into a new year here, right? We all have our resolutions. This is going to be our year. We want to get going. But I think pretty much all of you guys that are on this call, right? Like, you know, deep down that something in your business is broken, right? That something needs to change. For 2023 to be the year that you start doing things differently and start actually getting different results in your business. And if we fast forwarded the clocks and you're sitting in that very chair, except it's January 2024, will you be able to say if anything's changed in your business a year from now? Or will you be in the exact same place you are now, wondering why nothing's changed, especially last year, because you were so incredibly busy, right? Like, the being busy thing drives me nuts, because as many have come to learn, being busy means nothing other than spending your time on things that do not matter, that will not fundamentally change your business, that will leave you with a hobby and will not leave you on the path towards growth, right? And a great many of us know that path. So I do believe that step one in this whole thing is sort of coming to terms with that. And being open to changing things, to doing things differently this year. And so what are some of these things, right, that will fundamentally change your business? And first, just to introduce myself, for those that you don't know me, for those that don't know me rather, and sort of where this rant is coming from. My name is Patrick. I run the marketing department here. Been in this industry for a great many years now, a decade plus. And here at Art Storefronts, we've been in business almost for a decade now. We have a little bit over 8,000 customers, some of which have been with us for over 5+ years. And we study those customers very closely. And we study especially the ones that are really standing out from the pack and that are really, really growing, the superstars. And if you do that for any period of time, certain patterns start to emerge. And for the cynics among you, lest you think that we're advocating something you can only get through us, like Art Storefronts grows fastest when our customers are the most successful. I get to do less marketing and work when I create successful customers because they go out and tell all their family and friends. And so really as a business, we are uniquely incentivized to create successful customers. And so we do everything that we can to achieve those results. And a huge part of that, and what I'm going to talk about today, is studying our superstars. And what is it that they're doing that differentiates them from what everyone else seems to be doing that is creating this great level of success? And so a lot of the lessons that we learn from them, we break down, we systematize, we put into playbooks, we extract the tactics, the techniques, and we attempt to teach the rest of our customer base. And we just are constantly do that all year long. And so today is going to sort of center on some fundamentals of this business. And I said this yesterday, but there's this quote that I like to cite, and I don't know who came up with that originally, so I can't give any credit. So apologies if it was you. But the quote goes, morals, I got to get it right. Principles are many, morals are few. Principles change often, and morals never do. And I like that quote. And today, I'm going to cover at a high level and succinctly what we believe at Art Storefronts are, if you like, the morals of this business. They're the things that never change, right? They're the things that you simply must get right. They are not a flash in the pan tactic, right? Start doing Instagram Reels. That's where all the action is. Make sure to use the trending music. You'll get the most reach, right? That's a short-term tactic. It's Reels today. It'll be something else tomorrow. What I'm going to cover here today are the things that really never change, right? And so, for lack of a better term, the morals of the art business is what I'm going to get into. Now, quickly, programmatically, after I'm done with my little rant, we are going to bring in some of my colleagues that are going to be speaking on some other things that I will get into in a moment. As the session sort of rolls along today, you'll notice at the bottom of your Zoom window, and let me get this out of the way. Ooh, it did the crazy circusy thing, so I'm not going to show that. At the bottom of your Zoom window, though, there's a chat thing that pops up, a chat box. We can see this. I've got my colleagues in here as well, so they can be answering questions as we're rolling along with things. So feel free to avail yourself of that. After I'm done with my presentation, some of my colleagues are going to present briefly. And then if there's time, at the end, we can get into actual Q&A, unmute you guys, bring you in, get to your questions. So it's going to be a packed summit today, as it were. So let me not waste any time and get right into sort of the morals of this art business, the fundamental things that do not change, right? And the first one, and again, for those that were with me yesterday, I started with this yesterday, but we play the long game here. We play the long game. And we think it's really important that you understand, whether you know it or not, you are playing the long game. What we teach, what we advocate, what we encourage is the long game, right? This is not going to happen quickly. This is not going to happen overnight. There is no secret magical formula to Facebook ads. There is no list of high net worth buyers that if you just had, your business will be hugely successful overnight. You're not going to be able to build a successful art business from sitting on a beach and drinking umbrella drinks and working 4 hours a week, right? When you realize this, when you come to terms with this fact that it's not about a good month or a flash in the pan marketing technique or working your butt off for 2 months and then taking a break, or there's some revenue source that you have today that's working that will work forever. When you get sort of all of that nonsense that we're constantly fed out of your head and you realize that this is the long game, you realize it is about showing up every single solitary week and putting in the work, that puts you on the path to creating a successful business. So much of what we're sold and what we're pitched and what we're told in these courses and all the rest of this nonsense is about some kind of quick fix to you being a successful artist or a photographer. And I'm here to tell you it is all bullshit. Okay. This is the long game. building anything of value, especially a successful art of photography career, is the long game. And there's a number of reasons why I really harp on that. One, you know, I use this analogy all the time, but I've been running these things for going on years now. Zoom sessions just like this, talking to artist photographers everywhere. Routinely, I will get people in their 70s, 80s, and even 90s on these sessions. You are creatives. That is how you were made. This is not something that you just turn off. You're going to be at this for the rest of your life. I see it on a week in, week out basis. When I retire, I am done with marketing. Do I enjoy it? Yes, I do. Do I want to do it the rest of my life? No. I like cooking. I'm going to go get better at that when I finally retire, but not you guys. You don't shut off. You're going to be creating your art, your photography for the rest of your life. It is what creatively fulfills and sustains you. And when you have the perspective of just how much time you have left to get this right, it will create the necessary set of circumstances and motivation that you need to show up every day. Stated another way, you know, when you get in the car and let's say you're going for a 2-hour drive, or let's say you're going for a 7-hour drive, regardless of how long the drive is, when you get close to the end of it, you're like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? You start getting fidgety. You're rolling the window down. You're playing along with the radio. You're like, get me out of here. I have to go to the bathroom. But when you're on the 7-hour car drive, hour 5, you're just cruising, because in your mind, you know you're on that long-term drive, right? And so one of the things that's very important to instill in our customers early on is understand it's going to be painful at first. You're not going to like it. You're going to have to learn a bunch of things you've never learned before, and it's going to be frustrating. But guess what? Given how long you have in this business, it is 100% worth it, because when you play the long game, you guys, you are setting yourself up for success for a business that is growing year over year over year. Very, very important to say that. So few people get that right. Next, I want to move into selling your art with photography. Absolutely. The work must sell. Okay. One of the things that we sort of are like a postgraduate university that actually teaches how to monetize a creative talent, which no one ever talks about, no one ever does. There's this book that I like to cite, right? Phenomenal book. This should have been taught to you guys all in art school, and it's called Conversations with Picasso. You can't even get it in Kindle. It's like so old, right? Shows you that no one's reading it. Phenomenal book. Picasso is an absolute genius. This guy, Versailles, was illustrator. He's interviewing Picasso. How do I sell my work? How do I build a valuable art business? What do I do? Picasso's got some quotes in there. That's Versailles. That's Picasso, right? And Versailles is asking Picasso, and Picasso says, in the beginning, I did not sell at a high price, but I sold. My drawings, my canvases went. That's what counts. He followed up with another one. And originally, he's like, don't price them too high. What matters is that you sell a large number of them. Your drawings must go out into the world. Why am I bringing all this up? You do have to understand that the work must sell. Your stuff, your drawings, your work, your creations must go out into the world. That is a fact of being successful in this business, and a fact that everything needs to work on. What you don't hear in that book is that Pablo Picasso, upon his death, had 45,000 unsold works in his inventory, okay? 45,000. What Picasso understood that most other people didn't is that to be successful in this business, it is a game of archery. And in the game of archery, it comes down to how many arrows you fire and you hit the bullseye. Let's say this paperclip is your subject matter right now, your material. You use that as an arrow and you fire that as the target. And guess what? You're not a millionaire. You're not selling 5,000 pieces of work a year, right? That is okay. Not only is it okay, it is completely normal to be successful in this business. It's the number of arrows you fire at the target. No one ever talks about this. No one ever gets into this, that just because you created something and you think it's amazing and it fulfills you and you love it and it's what you like doing, or you live right next to the Smoky Mountains and you've got landscape photos of the Smoky Mountains because that's your backyard and that's not selling. All of that is A-okay. It doesn't mean you're a crappy artist. It doesn't mean you're a crappy photographer. It just means that particular arrow you took missed the target. Well, guess what? Grab another one and fire again. Really, really important concept, right? You have to give yourself the freedom and the creative license to fail, and fail often is a part of this process. Some of our most successful customers just have it in their DNA to constantly be firing arrows, trying new styles, trying new niches. And it is through that iterative process that ultimately you become really, really successful. Do we have some customers that are in this super narrow focus niche and that's everything that they create and it just works? Yes, we do, but they are not the norm. Almost everyone never talks about this, about having to try these various different styles to get there. So many of you on this call are trying some things and your business is not quite where it needs to be yet, or you're not quite happy with the revenue, or it's not selling at all. And you're like, I don't even know if this is a hobby, or if I should have listened to my mother and just quit and get a job. Okay. Give yourself permission to fail. Give your self permission to experiment and to find out what is the material that will end up selling. Now you need to get there, and it is a process, but it is one that we teach. And so many people quit thinking that they're a crappy artist or a crappy photographer. They're not talented, or art doesn't sell, or blame the world, blame someone else, whatever it is, listen to their mother. You don't understand. You have the permission to fail. You have the permission to experiment. Pablo Picasso had 45,000 unsold works when he died. How is that possible? Why has no one ever talked about that, right? So that's selling your art of photography. I'm going through these quickly at a high level. The next moral, the next thing that never changes, the success of your business long-term is going to come down to the number of customers you acquire per year. Why is that? Okay, it sounds obvious, but why is that? Succinctly, the easiest customer to get is the one that you already have. I'll say that again. The easiest customer to get is the one that you already have. Now, this is true for most businesses. It's much easier to get repeat business from someone than it is to go out and acquire a new customer. Okay, that's fine. But really where this gets interesting about this particular business, about this particular industry, is when we start talking about collectors. Now, I got my collectors rant from this guy's book, okay? It's called Don't Be a Starving Artist. It's by Weiland. Weiland is the whale guy. Totally recommend that you all buy this book. It's on his website. You can't get it on Amazon. I think he only sells it in paperback because he donates the proceeds to charity. Weiland, okay, refers to a collector as someone that will purchase in upwards of 7 pieces from him in a calendar year. So, or not in a calendar year, over the course of their lifetime. And so why is it so important to acquire customers, the number of customers you acquire per year? Because the more customers you acquire, the more potential you have to get a collector. A collector is the bread and butter of this business. A collector is the pension of this business. It is the force multiplier of everything that you do. It is the godsend of this business, because not every business has devoted folks that just have to collect. It is a deep-seated desire to continue to get more and more and more of a particular thing. And in art and photography, we see this play out with our most successful customers. They're better at acquiring customers all year long. They acquire more of them. Some percentage of those turn into collectors. How it manifests itself is you come out with an entire new series of 20 pieces. You're going to release it to the public on Wednesday. On Wednesday, the week before, you let your collectors know, here's the new series. 17 of them are gone before you've even showed them to the public. That is how it works when you play the long game. That is how it works when you focus on acquiring the number of customers you acquire per year, is to turn them into collectors. And this works both ways, right? It will work for you, and it will also work against you. It works for you when you are selling direct, when you know who is purchasing your work, when you are acquiring a great deal of customers per year. It works against you when you're selling through galleries, or you're selling through marketplaces, or you're selling anywhere where you don't get to know who purchases your work. I have seen so many broken-hearted, dejected folks in their 50s, 60s, and 70s that grinded, that had hugely successful careers, either through the gallery or through marketplaces, or maybe they sold at shows and fairs, or maybe they didn't keep records on who purchased their work, so they can't market to these folks. And they're like, I need to find some new ways of selling. I can't figure it out. And I was like, well, what have you been doing for the last 30 years? I don't know who any of those buyers are. Without the buyers, you don't have the built-in income. You don't have the pension. You don't have the 401k. It is so foundational to this business that you ignored at your peril. So collectors, the lifeblood, the bread and butter of this business, right? We're playing the long game. We're attempting to acquire as many new customers as we can, right? And we understand that collectors are the bread and butter of this business. All right, Patrick, awesome. What does my setup need to look like if I know that those things are true and I want to attempt to get onto that path? And it's a great question, and I want to briefly highlight it. Number one, you need to be selling direct, okay? What do I mean by selling direct? You need to be making sales directly to the end buyer. There can be no intermediaries between you and them. Easiest way to do that, most efficient way to do that, is directly via your website. So yes, you need to have a website. Let me put this other little thing to bed. Patrick, I'm selling on Etsy or Fine Art America or Saatchi or Redbubble or in a retail art gallery. Are you telling me to get rid of that? No, Not necessarily. I have never met a revenue source in this business I do not like. I love them all. Under no circumstances do you get rid of those revenue sources, especially if they're working. The vast majority of people, they don't work, or they work very minimally. But if you have a revenue source in your business that's working, absolutely keep it. The error is not in keeping it or not keeping it. The error is thinking it is a zero-sum game. You can only be in the gallery, or you can only be on the marketplace while not selling direct, while not acquiring customer data, while not acquiring customers directly who you can market to that will potentially become collectors. So you've got to do both. And you have to have a website, and you have to be selling direct. Further, you realize that if you are going to be acquiring customers, and you need to be acquiring as many customers as humanly possible, you need to have a range of pricing. Okay. What do I mean by that? Very, very important here. This is not taught. This is not talked about. There are not blog articles about this. There are on our website because I wrote them, but this is just not out there enough. And I'm going to go through it quickly. You need to have a range of pricing. Your offering needs to consist of items priced from $0 to $100, $100 to $1,000, and $1,000 plus. In addition to that, you need to have non-wall art as a part of the lineup. Okay. Non-wall art is a part of the lineup. Why? Not everyone is ready to buy wall art all the time. They're just not. Okay. Stated another way, wall art at times can be a crappy business. Wall art is like selling mattresses. We're all in the market when we're in the market for a mattress. The rest of the time, we could care less. That is how wall art is at certain times. And so when you only have wall art and you don't have non-wall art as a part of your lineup, by which I mean merchandise, you are going to inevitably attract all of these folks into your ecosystem that like you, that like your vibe, that like what you're putting out there, your energy. They want to reward you for it. The problem is they're not in the market for wall art. Their mattress is plenty comfortable right now. So what do? They leave. They leave because you don't have anything to sell them. Guess what happens when they leave? They're distracted by cat videos. They have kids. They move. They forget you even exist. So this is so fundamental to getting an ROI out of what you're doing in terms of your marketing, okay? You have to have non-wall art as a part of your lineup. And so that is where merchandise comes in. I quite frankly don't care what merchandise it is that you sell. We have some customers that hand paint wooden spoons. We have some customers that like the coasters or the photo books or the tote bags or the calendars or any of the above. And one of the common pushbacks that I get, okay, I get this all the time. You're probably the one saying it right now. I don't want to sell that cheap schlocky merchandise crap. Who likes that stuff? That doesn't represent me as a fine artist. Go ahead for me and throw into the chat the last time any of you went into a museum that didn't have a gift shop. I'll wait. Tell me the last time that you were at one of the top musical acts in a concert hall somewhere or at a large venue where they did not have a merch booth. Don't worry, I'll wait. Go ahead and throw it into the chat. No one ever throws it into the chat. Do you want to know why? Because both the museum and the rock stars are not hobbyists. They're in business. Okay, to put food on the table and feed their families. They understand about acquiring customers. And an artist and a photographer, you need to act the exact same way. I get really fired up about that because the pushback I get on that is utter, total, and complete nonsense. The entire ball game, collectors being the bread and butter, is how many customers you acquire. In addition to that, to finish up on merch quickly, I'm someone who spent a career digital marketing, okay? I've run a ton of ads. And when you're on Facebook and when you're on Instagram and when you're on Twitter, when you're on YouTube and when you're on Google, i.e. when you're on your phone, I stand a chance of getting your attention. Do you know when I don't stand a chance of getting your attention? When you put that phone down. Do you know what merch is like? It's like I look at that calendar and I think like, that is like a Facebook ad that I can staple onto your kitchen wall that you will see 365 days a year. Okay. If you buy a tote bag from somebody, and every time you go to a farmer's market or every time you go to the beach or every time you go to the library, you are carrying that and your art is front and center in the top of my mind. Do you have any idea what a difference that makes in terms of when those folks are ready to buy that wall art, they are ready for the mattress? Game changer, absolutely, which allows me to pivot quite smoothly into POD. POD is an absolute, utter, total, and complete game changer, you guys. Stands for print on demand. What it means is you can create a thing, photograph the thing, and then all of a sudden you are able to offer that thing in all of these various different media types, as well as merch, zero minimum orders, zero inventory. Okay. Utter, total, and complete game changer. 20, 15 years ago, when I was first getting involved in this industry, if you wanted to be selling prints, guess what you had to do? Order the prints. You wanted to be selling calendars, guess what you had to do? Order the calendars. Guess what happened if you didn't sell all the calendars? You had a giant pile of firewood. Nobody wants a 2019 calendar in 2023. So you had a giant pile of firewood, right? None of that is the case anymore. Now you can offer all of these things. You can go from someone that is creating originals, original photographs, and you can go from having 10 items in your store to having 500 like that with zero expense out of your pocket. Utter, total, and complete game changer. It is so, so important. Okay. We understand now that we need to play the long game. We need to acquire as many customers as we can because we want to get collectors, the bread and butter. We realize we need to have a range of pricing. We realize we need to leverage POD, both in terms of prints and merch. What's next? Next, we get into the marketing. And let me tell you, every single solitary person on this call, every little square in this Zoom window has a marketing problem. Admit it. I already know. You'll tell me I already know. I see plenty of your faces. You're smiling. Step one is we all admit it. We come to terms with it, right? You all have a marketing problem, and we need to fix the marketing problem, right? We need to teach you how to market. We need to teach you all year how you do that in a digital capacity, how you do that in a real world capacity. How do you capture emails? How do you email those emails? How do you post on the socials? How do you run a live art show? How do you execute a sale? How do you contemplate the discount? How do you tease it, announce it, end it? What do you do before, during, and after? What's the best way to rock an in-person show and capture as many leads as you can there? Fundamentally important to fix the marketing problem. Now, 98% of the content we put out is all about marketing. So you already know all about marketing. 90% of the emails that I send you, which I send way too much of, okay? I'm coming to terms with my own issues. Yes, I know I send too much email, but all of that is about marketing. And some of my colleagues will cover some of the marketing in detail afterwards. The other thing that I want to talk about that you need in addition to marketing is the support. No one ever talks about this, right? No one ever talks about the support. And the way that I like to think about it almost is, if the marketing is the secret sauce of what we do at Art Storefronts, the main dish that sauce is sitting on top of is really the support. Okay. And what's the easiest way? The way that I like to talk about the support, the way that I like to explain the support is it's really an umbrella. It's not support in the truest name of the word that you think about it. But you ever see this show, The West Wing? I'm dating myself. It's old now, and take it easy. I'm not getting into politics, but show's written by Aaron Sorkin. He's a genius writer, right? And he tells this story that I like, which really relates to the support thing. And in the story, he goes, guy's walking down the street, falls down into a hole. Can't get out of the hole. He's stuck down there. And he's down there in the hole, and he's like, help, get me out of here. I'm stuck in this hole. I can't get out. And so a doctor comes walking by, and he's like, help, can you help me? Can you help me? Doctor looks down in the hole, writes out a prescription, throws it down in the hole. He's like, there, that's what I can do for you. And walks on, right? So he's still stuck down in the hole. Next thing you know, a priest comes walking by, and he yells up to the priest, help, I'm stuck down in this hole. Can you help me? And the priest looks down at him, writes out a prayer, throws that down in the hole, walks on. Next thing you know, he's been in there for even longer. He's yelling, help, I'm down here. And he sees a friend, and the friend instantaneously jumps down into the hole with him. And he's like, you moron. Now we're both stuck down here. Why did you do that? He goes, yeah, we are. But I've been down here before, and I know the way out. Art Storefronts is built, okay, a team of entrepreneurs, and we understand something instinctively. How damn lonely and difficult the entrepreneurial road is, okay? I know you guys are all solopreneurs. Some of you are blessed with significant others, some of you not, but it's not like you have a team of people that you're working on solving a problem with. It's not like you have an entire staff in your office that are all trying and focused on how to help you sell your art and grow your art career. That's not happening, right? And we understand the highs and the lows are probably one of these single solitary biggest crippling things that exist in this business, right? They are the reason, the quitting points, those difficult points that you have as you're trying to build this career and build this business, where everyone quits, right? I always joke and quip that everyone treats their marketing of their business as an artist or a photographer like a New Year's resolution, right? You start the year off in January. You're going to the gym 4 days a week. This gym membership's awesome. March rolls around and you haven't been once all month, right? So the reason that always happens, that everyone works on their business for this tiny little bit and quits, because it is damn lonely being an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, an artist, or a photographer trying to grow it. And that is why I'm so proud of the product that we have, which I like to call the support umbrella, right? And yes, the support umbrella to a certain extent is DIY education. Here's, you need to learn how to do a thing. Here's how you do the thing. Go learn on your own. Yes, it's in-person classes that we hold internally, like this Zoom session is today. Yes, it's support like everyone usually likes to think about it. Chat and tickets and phone calls and Zoom sessions and videos that they send you, right? Everybody knows about that. But really, the best part about it that no one talks about is the emotional support you get as a customer here. And that comes in the form of encouragement. It comes in the form of accountability when we see that you're not doing your social work and you're not running a sale and you haven't sent any emails and you just get a little, hey, what's going on? What's going on over there? Are you doing any work over there? Which is very, very important. At times it's harassment. Now, good nature, I assure you, okay? But sometimes it's harassment and a kick in the pants. Sometimes it's a member from the community that pulls you up because you're not going through it alone anymore. You have 8,500 like-minded people all working at the same purpose, right? And thank God for that, because artists don't really compete with one another. It's not the way that it works in this industry, thank God again. So you have all these other folks that are going through it at the same time. And when your roller coaster is at the very bottom, theirs is at the top. They just got this huge success and it bucks you up, and it is a rising tide that literally does raise all boats. And so, when you're down in that hole and you're stuck, inevitably someone is going to come fall in that hole with you and say, I've been down here before. I know the way up. And all of a sudden, instead of quitting, instead of taking a couple of months off, instead of treating your marketing and your business like the New Year's resolution and quitting, all of a sudden you're back taking forward steps again and growing the business, because you're playing the long game. You guys, you're playing the game that understands that it is about what you do day in, day out, week in, week out, that determines whether or not you are a successful artist or photographer. It's not anything else. So I love that the support umbrella and everything that comes into it. It's quite frankly one of the things as a business at Art Storefronts that I am most proud of that we provide. And so, if we get all of these fundamentals, if we get these so-called morals of an art business right, and we do not deviate from the path, if we play the long game, that's it. That is how you create successful artists and photographers. These are the things that nobody likes to talk about. Everyone is always so busy working on things. Nothing in the business ever changes. But when you get these things right, everything in the business changes. You guys, everything changes in the business. So that's everything that we do as a business in Art Storefronts. And whether it's done by our software, art education, our people, our support, our community, all of it is just to attempt to anchor our customers to these morals, so to speak, morals of the art business. You get there, you stay focused on them, you keep creating, you give yourself the permission to fail sometimes on some works that are not going to sell. You will absolutely be on the path to creating a successful business. So that is my rant. That is my story. I'm sticking to it. Who's next? Who's next in our lovely customer summit?
That would be me, Patrick. I'm Victoria. I'm going to share my screen.
And you'll probably want to unpin me, Taylor, or whoever did that, so that we can see Vicky or Nikki. Sorry.
You bet. Let me go ahead and share. Okay. Hey, well, I'm Victoria. I help out here on the outreach team. And that means that if you're interested in talking to one of us on the team about your specific situation, like a lot of people start in totally different places in their career. Some people just started out and they sold a couple pieces and they're like, hey, I really want to sell more. I want to see if I can do this. We help people like that. Some people have sold a lot, like they've sold a lot in person, but they've never really sold online. And so we help them with that too. We can talk to you specifically about your needs, but long story short, I just wanted to show you a little bit of the website and just some of the really cool key features that Art Storefronts has. And of course, there'll be a time where we'll go ahead and get your questions answered too. But one really cool thing about Art Storefronts is we are not a marketplace. So it's not like you're in this gigantic store where, sorry, I want to look at this, the wall preview. We're not like a gigantic store where you're in there with a million other people's art and everybody's just one click away from someone else's art. Like, this is your store. It's your store with your domain name, your brand, your art, your customers, and you're in complete control. You get to call the shots with what you want to sell, how you want to sell it, what your pricing is, and all of that. So I just wanted to let you know it is all about you. But we can help you a lot. Like, for example, if you have someone that comes to your website, you want to make it super easy for them to purchase your art and to even understand what they're looking at. And a lot of that has to do with these super cool visualization tools. Like, a lot of people have never heard of metal prints, but if they're really looking at it, they can really tell what they're buying. Same thing with like a wall preview tool where people don't really know what something might look like, how big it looks, what is a mat, all that fixed. It's visual. And did you know the most powerful thing that you can do is actually get your art on somebody's wall? Like, all of this is designed so that the person that comes to your website and visits feels like they're looking at your art in person. They can move it around, they can manipulate it, they can see it in different sizes. This is showing you our augmented reality feature. This is where somebody can actually take their phone and see your art live on their own wall with their phone camera. They can beam it over their own bed in their bedroom, which I hope their bed is in their bedroom, or over the fireplace. And it just makes it so much easier. And then when the art actually gets to them, which, by the way, we have optional print on demand. So through a fulfillment center, we have fulfillment labs that print, package, and ship for you. And it's like hands-free passive income for you. And it's awesome. They take care of the shipping. The label is your name. Like, it's awesome. It's optional, use it or not, but it's so awesome. So when they get it, they already know what they got. So it's like exactly what they saw in their living room or their bedroom or wherever they want to put the art. All these tools all work together to help, and you can sell all kinds of stuff. So like Patrick was saying, you can sell like merchandise. We have print on demand for all kinds of cool merchandise. I have a phone case here, but you can do all kinds of different stuff, all automated for you. But let's say you want to sell something that's more of a 3D, like sculpture. Sure, you can sell that too. And this is all so that you can really create, you get all your customers' information, so you can reach out to them. You can keep up, a relationship with them. They come back and buy again. So it's awesome. And we show you how to do that. The marketing plan and the marketing team walks you through how to do that. So, the other thing you might be thinking, if you've had a website before and you're thinking, I cannot deal with setting up another site. I fought so hard to set up my other site on a different platform, and it was a nightmare. One amazing thing that we have right now that is going through this week, we have a service. It's called Site Setup. And that means that our team of experts just sets up the site for you. I mean, you give them the information, they consult with you, and bam, they put it together. And it just leaves you more time to create. We really want to take all that heavy lifting off of your plate so that you have more time to create. The other really cool thing, just want to say real quick, yes, you can sell limited editions. You can sell your original paintings. We have people who only sell originals, and you can have video files. Your website can do all kinds of really cool stuff. But while you're creating new art and putting new art on the site, you might think to yourself, great, I had somebody who set up my site, but now, I'd have to work on my site. This is too long. I don't have the time. I really just want to paint. All I really want to do is paint, or all I really want to do is shoot. And that's why we have this super cool promotion right now going through this week where we have a tech assistant. That tech assistant will extend into the entire lifetime of your membership here. Meaning you can reach out to them if you want to add a piece or change a name or change your pricing, change your sizes, whatever. You just email them and they take care of it for you. So a lot of really cool, fun things to talk about when you see a demo, which is really the best way to take a look at everything so that they'll relate it to you and your art and what you're looking to do, your goals. But they're going to show you everything that it can do to help you save time so that you can be happy and create more art. So that's it from me. Now you might be thinking, well, Victoria, great. I've got a super hot site that's like the Ferrari of art websites, but how am I going to get people into my store? Like, how do I actually get customers? How do I get people to see my work? That's what Joseph is going to talk to you guys about a little bit, which is the marketing plan. Also, if you have any questions, we want to answer those as well. So I think Joseph will have some things that are good to say, though. Okay, I'll stop sharing now.
Awesome. Thank you.
You bet.
Yeah, let me maybe share a little bit on my screen as well. So my name is Joseph. I'm head of our outreach team here. And once you have a site, right, you get this store, like I said, if you come on board, we'll set it up for you. And then you got to get people in there, right? And we really want to help you, like Pat said, with the whole thing, right? How to get more exposure for your art, drive traffic to your website, and make it really simple for people to buy your art. So we have our art marketing calendar. This is designed to give you 365 days a year of what you can do to put your art in front of more people and, get some sales. Again, 365 days is a lot of days. Not everybody can do everything every day, right? Now, we do have some full-time artists that they do a lot of these things and might hit a lot of the days, but really it's do what you can, try and be consistent. Like Pat said, it's like going to the gym. You got to the guy who goes just a little bit or gal or whoever goes, and they're going week by week, doing an hour or two, as much as they can. In March, by summer, you have that beach body you're looking for, right? That's what we want. Just a couple hours, 1 or 2 a week, do what you can. Be consistent, though, and you're going to be growing in the right places, because this has been developed by Pat and his team are putting this together based on what we see working for over 8,000 photographers and artists that are selling and getting exposure. So all of that knowledge they develop into this to tell you exactly what you should be doing, when you should be doing it, where, like what social media is and how to grow an email list is in this, and then how to even use that email list and market to them. So it's fantastic. So let me kind of give you a quick overview here. But there's times like, if you have a lot of inventory, they'll give you kind of a tips on how to like move some of that inventory, make some more space so you can keep creating more art. We have different topics on like different niches and testing different types of art you can be selling. I always say like no artist wants to be just pigeonholed doing one thing. You want to be able to do a lot of different types of art. And this kind of gives you a guidance on that. Different types of romance content you should do that's just about you, about your art, that type of feel. It's fantastic. And then again, different times. Right now, Valentine's is a great holiday. There's different holidays that come through the year. Of course, everyone knows Christmas, Black Friday, those times. But like Valentine's Day, your Mother's Day, these are big peak times. We want to make sure you guys know exactly what to do to get your art in front of more people. So it's fantastic. We even do have, here, I'll just kind of a little slight preview. Still more on here. If you can hear me, I don't know. It said I was muted for a second, but we also have a master course coming up on like different niches and mastering that. So if you do have some different types of art you want to test, that's a fantastic help for you as well. But yeah, just clear guidance on what to do, how to get your art out there. It's fantastic. I don't know, Taylor, anything else you'd throw in on this thing?
No, that's pretty good. I'd say and hey, everybody, I'm Taylor. I'm one of the people that writes the calendar, puts it together along with the rest of our leadership team. Half of the value of the calendar is just giving you the heads up on upcoming selling opportunities. And then the other half is in telling you exactly how to take advantage of those opportunities. But I want to highlight the value of just getting that advance notice that something is even coming up, regardless of how you take advantage of it, or if you have the time to take advantage of it. Just being up to speed, because art doesn't sell randomly. It sells at these reliable times throughout the year, these checkpoints throughout the year when art buyers make purchases in bulk. So like I said, half the value of the calendar is just keeping up with that throughout the year. Okay, there's this hashtag holiday that was on January 19th, get to know your customers day. That was a huge one. Just getting the heads up on that is really great. And then when you click into it, you actually get the full details on how to take advantage of it, including the exact email subject line we recommend using, the email language, the social media language, the image templates you might need for social media. And you're free to use as much of that as you'd like. Mix in your own take on things if you'd like, or just rely on what we've researched for you and make use of it. Keep in mind, though, too, one thing good to mention about the calendar is that we're putting all the recommended strategy on there, but through the lens of being pretty realistic about how much time you actually have, which is not a ton, right? Not a ton. It's not going to be a full-time job to do the marketing for your art business. So we're operating under an assumption of like 30 minutes a day. Like that's what you're going to give us, 30 minutes a day. So when we put tasks in here, it looks overwhelming when you look at it all at once, but all these daily tasks, we're asking ourselves as a team, can this be done in 30 minutes? Is this realistic for someone to actually do that's not a full-time marketer? So keep that in mind when you look at it. It's been kind of whittled down to the bare essentials, the most effective stuff that should take you 30 minutes a day on the days when you want to spend some time working on your business.
Absolutely. I love it. And so the calendar's completely here for you. We do also have webinars for our members where you can come in, ask marketing questions, get answers. If anyone really wants to go deeper and learn more and more about different marketing things you can be doing beyond that, we have a whole vault here full of playbooks and courses and videos to teach you how to do even more advanced things when you want to get into that stuff. But of course, as you're doing these marketing things with the webinars, everyone's journey is a little different. You're going to have different questions. You know, your art's a little bit different. You're going to run into things where you need some help, right? Maybe I've never shipped an original. How do I do that? We also have a private community full of all of our artists. So again, there's over 8,300 people in here. Right. And you can come ask questions, get help from other photographers and artists that are doing it as well. Selling, generally, if you run into a problem, you can skip to the answer in here because a lot of these other people have already had these same problems and same questions as they've been growing. And it's just fantastic that you don't have to figure these things out alone anymore. There's a whole team building exactly what to do for marketing. There's a team developing features and websites and keeping that up for you and even maintaining it. And you can really just focus on, okay, what do I need to do? Keep creating, keep kind of figuring out these little things and get help along the way. You're just not alone, right? It's awesome. So yeah, again, website designed specifically for selling art, a full marketing calendar to tell you exactly what you should do. Again, do what you can. One of the beauties of that is that we're keeping that up to date with best practices. So if you're not able to do something for a few weeks or a month or two, you have the confidence. You can just pull that up and immediately jump in and know you're doing the best thing you could be doing to get your art out there, which is awesome. So again, all those components are what we've provided for you guys. I mean, we are really looking to, where we're going as a company is we're really looking to offboard all these things that are like more businessy type tasks for you to sell your art. Take a lot of that off your shoulders so you can really get towards like focusing on creating, getting more art, testing different types of art. Like that's the projection we're going. And we've got a lot of it built already for you. And it just gets better and better every year. So I've been here for a long time, like Pat, and on average, we add about 15 different features a year. And it just has gotten better and better. So we love it. And we love really just helping and supporting artists as best we can with these tools and taking a lot of that heavy stuff off of you. So all in all, though, just to give you an idea as well, we'll start to kind of tackle some popular questions and things. But I do want to give everybody just an idea of our pricing, because right now we kind of did an extension with adding so many features. We do update our pricing every year. So our price is going to be going up, but we extended our 2022 pricing through the end of the week. So you can still take advantage of that. So feel free to request a demo and we'll give you a full walkthrough. But as far as our pricing does go, so you have a general idea, we have a one-time membership that starts as low as $1,700 on the low end. On the high end, it goes up to $3,500. That's a one-time fee. So you do not pay that again. And then after that, the ongoing monthly goes from $59 a month on the low end and then up to $79 a month on the high end. Again, the range there just depends on the features you'd like. And of course, someone on my team can always walk you through like a full demo and go through all the features and really just make it clear as day and break it down and maybe recommend what's best for you and your personal situation. And yeah, just a great time to get started. Like Nikki said, in addition to the last chance to get the 2022 pricing, we'll actually set the site up for you right now when you come on board, so you don't have to hassle with that. And then after that, again, we're offloading. We'll have a tech assistant for you for the life of being with us, that anytime you need something done to the site, we'll do it for you. I mean, you don't need to be a webmaster here to be a successful artist. So it's beautiful. And it's just kind of where we're going as a company. And so we're in a great time. And here, this is another fun thing I'll share with you real quick. We kind of have a wall of wins just so you can see what people say about working with us. You know, here's someone who shipped their first original, was working with us. You know, so that's clearly an artist. I know I saw one over here that was for their first sale with a limited edition. So photographers, you can do that as well. And prints and, you know, just all kinds of wins. People growing an audience in social media, people growing an email list, and ultimately following the marketing plan and with the site that converts and makes it easy for people to buy. A lot of people being successful. So just really excited what we've put together. And really another thing, you know, you can see all these, what our clients say, but I did want you guys to meet one of our special members. Andrea Cross is decided to join us as well here. And I just thought it'd be nice that you could kind of hear from her. And I kind of wanted to ask maybe some of the more general questions you always get. We'll knock those out, and then we can always open up and do questions for all of us, as well as Andrea here for anybody who has questions. But Andrea, welcome. And yeah, hopefully you're having a great day. I know kind of popular things that people have been asking you, like, I was going to say, like, what kind of inspired you to start selling your art?
Well, it's what I'd always wanted to do. I was a wedding photographer for years, like 20 years, but landscapes and nature was always kind of my first love. I always dreamt of being a National Geographic photographer, but I just didn't know how. Like, weddings is easy. I know that audience is easy to find. They have a date they need to buy for, but selling art is sort of this abyss of the world. Like, where is my audience? I didn't know how to find it. So, I mean, I'd sold in some galleries and gift shops, that was all local. And I didn't know how to do the online thing until I found art storefronts. And then suddenly there was like a path and a tribe that was on the same path that kind of helped me through it. So I guess it was all sort of muddled and just sort of this clouded dream until I found art storefronts. And then I was like, okay, like having a day-to-day task list that I know is like approved by people who know something about marketing, because when it comes to marketing online, I don't. Then it suddenly was like, okay, well, if I know what I need to do every day, and I know because there's people ahead of me that are saying it's working, then I can do this. It just suddenly became doable, and it never was before. I wish I'd found them sooner. I wish I'd found you sooner, because then I could have started this, you know, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. Yeah, that's kind of what.
Awesome. Well, I guess also, what do you feel like kind of gave you the confidence to get started with art storefronts?
Okay. So I'm a researcher. So I did a lot of research before I finally made my decision. It took me a long time. I kind of circled around to you guys they just kept coming back to you because it seemed like you had everything that I needed, but I just needed to know that there wasn't something better out there. So I researched like everything, and everything else I would have to piecemeal together, which I knew would get me sort of overwhelmed. So I liked that it was one voice, it was one plan, everything worked together towards the goal of me selling my artwork. And then so I read like every review there is online about you. And then I emailed people who had left reviews and asked them like more specific questions. I just wanted to dig. I wanted to know I was going to make the right decision. And everyone that I talked to had nothing but good things to say about, no matter how much I pried, they were really positive. So that kind of helped me I'm not a trusting person. So it helped me kind of trust that everyone I talked to was really positive about Art Storefronts and said that what you gave was even better than what you offered, which I've certainly experienced that myself now that I've joined. So that, and then I think the final thing on top of that was I had a meeting with my business mentor after I did the demo, and I walked him through, the costs and the pricing and the features on the website and the marketing. And he just got giddy. It's kind of funny. And he was just like, this is a no-brainer, Andrew. And I was like, well, I don't know. It's a big investment. He's like, well, not compared to the store that I had to invest in. And I've owned a store too. And the amount of stock I had to put in that store was like years of investment that, for Art Storefronts. So to start a business for the amount of money that I had to spend to start with Art Storefronts he was just laughing. He's like, you could never build a website like this with all these features for even a fraction of what you're spending to use it all and then have somebody else maintain it for you. So he was just like, it's a no-brainer. I'm so excited for you that you found this. I can't wait to see what happens. So yeah, I think because I trust him so much and because of all the positive reviews from other users, those were kind of the things that really pushed me over my very tentativeness into, yes, I want to buy. And I've been really happy with that decision.
Nice. Yeah, no, any regrets or?
Just that like I said, that I wish I'd found you sooner so that I could have started like my real dream sooner, not just being a photographer, but being a nature photographer. Like that's what I always wanted. And yeah, from where I've gotten in, like I've been with you for 10 months now, where I've gotten in those 10 months with you, I never would have gotten there. I'd tried and I could sell in person, but online was just like, I don't even know how to start. And I think I had my first sale within 3 to 4 weeks of joining. And that was just amazing. And it's growing. And I'm not second guessing every decision I make with my marketing because I know that the people who are telling me what to do have tested it. So yeah, I just wish I'd started sooner. I wish I'd found you years ago. But I'm excited that I'm doing it now and that I'm not, like I still have decades of my life left to do what I actually really, really want to do. So thank you for that.
Living the dream, going for it. I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we can open it up here. And if anybody has some questions, we probably have some in the chat already. You can always kind of do a hand raise on the Zoom as well. And while you guys think about questions and formulate them, because me, Nikki, Andrea, Pat, we're all happy to answer any questions and maybe even Taylor. But also next steps is while you guys kind of get that together, feel free to request a demo. We showed you just kind of a light overview with some visuals. My team is happy to just walk you through more detail, maybe make some recommendations for you, take a peek at your art, and just kind of see what is best for your journey and make some recommendations and get you going with the special we have going on. Taylor, we got anything else?
It's probably worth shouting out. Our most popular piece of content is called Dominating Your Niche. This is a 4-week masterclass that we run twice a year. Very popular because it cuts to what I'm sure is a major topic on all of your minds, which is how out of everything I create, do I find the gold? And then how do I put that gold in front of the right people without just waiting for them to somehow discover me on social media? How long does that take? We have a completely different approach to analyzing all of your work and then proactively putting it in front of the people that would love it, not waiting for them to find you, but going to where they spend time online and showing it to them there. We've had a lot of success out of this masterclass. That's why we repeat it every few months. The next session is coming up in February. So it's a really good time to sign up. We're starting on February 7th and running every Tuesday for 4 in a row on that course. It comes with guided tasks, aka homework to do in between the sessions, to keep you on pace with learning this process of dominating your niche, identifying the right area you should be focusing on, and building your audience by going and actually putting your work in front of the right people. So if you sign up now, that is free for Art Storefronts members. It's the only way to get in on it, and it starts February 7th. So request the demo. That's the first step, but keep in mind, it is a really good time to get started. We're here at the beginning of the year, which is a really good place to get all these ducks in a row, and you'll get right into our Dominating Your Niche masterclass.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Andrea, Nikki, Pat, Taylor, thanks for joining us. And yeah, everybody keep creating art. We love to see it and keep at it. And thank you guys so much. Have a great day.